Afternoon, Ronald. If we start with the injury situation, what's the latest on James McCarthy and Martin Stecklenburg? How long are they out for?
Martin Stecklenburg will be doubtful for Boxing Day. Still not trained. And James McCarthy is out. He's again slight hamstring. And of course that's bad news because the boy was doing well. And of course I'm a little bit worried about his about a lot of many this kind of injuries and but he will be out I think about 2-3 weeks.
Is there something else that can be done for James in terms of investigating why he keeps suffering these kind of injuries?
I don't know. That's a medical question. We like to do and we need to do everything that he is fit and he's regular fit and he's more constancy in his game time, and that's the most important. And okay, we will see after 2-3 weeks how he is coming back, and then we need to make decisions about fixtures and
Can I just check on Leighton Baines as well? He trained away from the group today. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He did not train today, but he will be available for the weekend.
Romelu Lukaku's agent says that a new contract at Everton is 99.9% done. What is your understanding of the situation?
I know that they are in talks together about a new contract, but if it's 90%, 99%, I need to believe his agent.
How big a deal would this be for Everton Football Club?
That's a big deal because, and that's what the club is showing, to keep the best players and do everything to keep them in the club, and because that's really future. And of course, you don't know in football what can happen in 1 year, but at least there's understanding, and the boy likes to stay, and he's a big part of the Everton future.
Yeah, I was going to say, what does a deal like that mean? Because, for instance, we saw Luis Suarez sign a new deal at Liverpool.
We know.
The following summer, he was off to Barcelona.
We know, but that's in general. You mention a different situation, but it's even they sign new contracts, but that don't say then they will stay till the end of the contract. That's football and it's business, and we will see. But first of all, I think if the new deal is done, that's a good news.
And also a signal for yourself as to the level of ambition of the club that you joined in the summer.
Yes, of course. We spoke about this project, and it starts, but we still not finished that project, and we know it's a difficult time. But I knew that before. I wasn't expecting everyday good news or good results, and we know what we need to do to improve, and that's not done by 2 months.
So would you say the job's proving to be more difficult or as difficult as you thought it would be?
Not difficult, but every job in every club in the Premier League is difficult because that situation can change very, very fast in football, we know. And but I see a big difference in around the club, what happened in Everton and what I knew before 2 years of Southampton.
In terms of you looking to strengthen your squad in January, we understand West Brom have made an £18 million bid for Morgan Schneiderlin. How far is any interest you have in the player?
I don't speak about players. I know, I see what happened. If it's true or not, I don't know. I spoke to the board, and we spoke together with Steve Walsh, and we mentioned what we need and which kind of players we need to make the squad stronger in January, and you will see what happened in the coming weeks.
Morgan, someone you've worked with before, though, is that an easy connection to make?
Of course, I know him because we worked one season together, and he moved to Man United.
In terms of the players that you have here, though, have you had to pick them up after the late disappointment against Liverpool?
Of course, it's that impact is still bigger. If you lose the derby and after 94 minutes, then you lose a different game at home, because the impact of a derby is really so important, and that was the reason that we were really very disappointed. But okay, there is no time to stop. There is no time to go down. We need to continue, and I was very pleased about the last two home performances. If you get 2 draws out of the 2 games against Arsenal and Liverpool, maybe the feeling was different. But we have 1 more point out of that. And of course, if I can change it, then I prefer to lose at home against Arsenal and to win the second one, of course, like Evertonian. But 3 points out of 6, 2 difficult matches. I was pleased about the team organization, about the spirit in the team. But it's a big, what we need to show now in when we don't play at home. We need to be the same, and we need that aggression, what we showed in the last 2 games at home.
Perhaps another example of the difficulty of the Premier League. Leicester, the champions, who've struggled to find that kind of form once again, that consistency.
Really, I think we can't find a better example how difficult the Premier League is, and of course they involved in Champions League, and that all that fixes, all the games are different for them, and of course then it's not the same Premier League season for them. That's normal.
Are you used to this Christmas period and the games coming thick and fast now?
Yes, but okay, we know it's it's football, and the stadiums are full on Boxing Day, and we play the 30th, we play the 2nd of January. I think we have enough rest between the games, and other teams, they don't have that rest, like Southampton, because they play, I think, the 28, the 31 and the 2, and it's still more difficult for them.
Hello, Ronald. I know we've spoken about fitness levels in the past. Where do you see your players now? Is it something that they can get back, have got back, looking forward?
I think we have at the moment really good fitness in the team. Of course, we have some players with stories about injuries, like James. 2 years, 1 year ago, he needs to improve in the intensity of the whole week program in training, and that's the next step for him. But several other players, they are fitness-wise stronger than they were, and we showed that against Arsenal, we showed that against Liverpool, and of course we had more difficulties in the second half, but obviously you like to play better in the second half, you like to have more ball position, but the opponent was strong in the second half. But in general, we are happy about the fitness of the players, but still we can improve. But that's the same story about we need time for that, and they need to use to different exercises, to different intensity in training, because I believe training is how you train, how you play.
Aaron Lennon, a player that's come back into the fold recently, how do you feel that he's been doing?
He's good. He's really that team player what you as a manager like. He's working hard. He's doing well, and I'm happy to have Aaron in the squad.
And just finally, can I just clear up what Martin Stecklenburg's injury is? Was it an impact injury?
So that leg, and okay, he's still not walking normally, and okay, he needs to be fit on Saturday, Sunday to start on Monday.
Ronald, just going back to James McCarthy, you said about you expressed your worries and concerns for him over his fitness. I know he had groin issues at the start of this season. He had his international duty that you weren't happy about in October. Is he overloaded? Can you expand on what those concerns and worries are?
It's always difficult. He was overloaded when he came back from Ireland. But I think I was really confident with James that he was on a good level of fitness, and he showed that against Arsenal. And there was no reason to put James or or not to start with Jamie against Liverpool. But okay, but I'm worried. Of course, I'm worried about his fitness and his several muscle problems. Of course, but okay, we need to wait.
Ronald, Phil Jagielka was suspended for the derby. Does he come straight back in, or how do you see that?
I don't know. And if I know, I don't tell you.
It's fair enough. Just that you spoke earlier about the club needing to keep their better players. It's a problem Everton have had for a long time. What pathway do you think the club needs to take to improve that, the chances of that happening in the future?
It's always difficult, because if you watch Tottenham, they like to make the step, and they make a step last season, but it's really difficult for also for teams like Tottenham to be close to really the top, and that seems still for Everton more difficult. And we know if we need to battle for players, and we have the competition of United, City, Chelsea, then it's difficult. But I still believe in to get good players to make the next step, and that's what we need to do.
And Ronald, does Ross Barkley come into the category of important players that the club needs to keep hold of? Because again, there's been speculation that you might even be willing to let him go.
Yeah, but okay, if you need to believe all the speculations, then throw a speculation on the table and you ask for an answer. I don't do that, because he's still a young player, and of course everybody knows we spoke about his contract last time, I think, and that's the question for January, February, what we need to do.
Ronald,
Okay.
No, I'm not dating on that. Can I just ask, in terms of this time of year, is it, as a manager, as a player, is the intensity of fixtures now, is that something that's appealing about English football, or the opposite?
It's really tough, but it's more tough for of course, they maybe the big teams, they have more players on the same level to make more rotations, maybe, but for the individual player, it's in my opinion, they need a break. But they play national team, they play Champions League, and every competition, I think is stopping the league for at least 1 week. But okay, I understand the Premier League not, and if you worked in the Premier League, okay, you do your job, and I like to play by Christmas, but I'm not a football player.
Do you enjoy working? You mentioned
I enjoy, but okay, everybody knows it's also a family time, and you need to find really that balance during the Christmas and New Year, and that's difficult. But first of all, we need to play, and we need our preparation for the next game, and okay, we know that, and they pay good money, and the stadiums are full, and there is really competition. Okay, I don't have any problem about that.
Okay, thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.